Hello, welcome to Meanwhile at the Castle podcast. I'm Queen Emily.
I'm Queen Deborah.
And we are queens of our castles, keeping the domestic arts alive. It is May 26th, and this is episode 55. And we're happy to be here together.
Yay! Where we live, and I think a lot of other places, a lot of restrictions have lifted, and that makes it so much better.
It's way more fun to be together. Absolutely. So we're going to do a life update. Then we're going to do finished projects. Then we will do works in progress and have a kindness is sugar.
Kindness is like sugar segment.
Thank you. And some shop news at the end. So tell me what's up with you.
Lots of stuff. We have been really busy. I even wrote notes today because I can never remember what happened, like if I even ate breakfast. So
that's
how am I supposed to remember the last month? So pretty much I have spent the last several months just living with my hands in the dirt, and just like not most everybody else, but it feels like that sometimes when we go to try to get some vegetables to plant.
At the garden center.
Yes, at the garden center. So we've been just planting pots, planting seeds, pulling weeds, we do back-teed gardening methods. So we have put down a layer of compost mulch and then a layer of bark on top. And then we did seeds and we did some starts. And anyways, we're getting ready to overhaul the front yard very shortly here. I'm hopeful that it's in the next 2 weeks that we'll start on that, because it's going to be a big and long project.
That is a big project.
So we've been doing that, and we've been camping. So we've taken our motorhome out, and we've discovered that it is old. I knew it was old. I love it. My husband's angry at it. He was just cranky because things were breaking. And I said, it's still way better than the tent that we were trying to haul around. So I'm happy with that. I'm having fun. We have lots of plans to do. Lots of camping. This is the summer of camping for us, I hope. I say that every year, and then schedules don't allow it. But this year,
they just might.
They just might, yes.
That's awesome.
Yep. So we've been doing that. We just got back this last Saturday from camping, or Sunday. And it was very cold that weekend. So I will wait until it's warmer until the next time. Well,
you could go next weekend, because I think that the high was like 55 last Saturday. It's going to be 98.
Yes.
This coming Saturday.
Yes, that's what happens this time of year, is that it can't decide if it's spring, winter, summer, spring, winter, summer, summer, winter.
Yeah, it really, I
so
saw the forecast for 98 degrees and my heart just died a little bit, because I have an outdoor backyard thing that we're doing on Saturday, one of our youth programs.
Welcome to summer.
98. So,
yep. And then I am actually planning to, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, start a different YouTube channel that will just kind of share some of the things that we're doing around our house, and a lot of the other stuff that we do that we don't necessarily show on here. So you can stay tuned for that. I'll always share information when we get to that point. It's
going to be so fun. I'm excited for that one.
What about you, Em? What's up?
Well, we're similar in that we've been doing a lot of yard work, a lot of gardening. We have been working on just making our outdoor space a little more inviting. And then I've just been working on heroic youth stuff. Because of COVID, we are doing an primarily online event, but trying to also build in all these ways to expand it as restrictions lift. And so it's kind of a crazy time, but it's really fun.
That would be really challenging for sure.
But it's really fun. And we're also working on some, I don't know if you want to quite call it mild remodeling in our family room, where we're putting in all new lighting. Well, the lighting is in. We had to redo some wiring, and so now we have to close up another big hole in the wall, and Then we're gonna paint. Anyway, just that kind of stuff. More redecorating, but with a little bit of remodeling there. But it's happening at a very slow pace, which is pretty typical around here. So just being patient with that. And then just working and enjoying having my kids home. Ethan and Aria both got jobs, which is a great blessing. So Aria started last week, Ethan started today, and they're just saving money for school and working, and just things are going along. But we had a really nice Memorial Day here in the US. Yesterday was Memorial Day, where it's a holiday to remember all of those who have died in battle or as members of the armed forces. And we also usually use it as a day to remember all of our just family and loved ones who have passed away. And it's one of our family's favorite holidays, because Deborah and I were talking about this the other day, that Deborah is not somebody who enjoys visiting cemeteries, and her family, they don't love it. Our family loves it. So it's just something we really like, and we go around to all the little towns, in which there are plenty of here in Utah, and go and see all the local little cemeteries, because we have ancestors back six generations from Deborah and I that are here in Utah, which out west is not terribly common. So anyway, that was really nice. We did that yesterday, and it's been good. Surprise! I've changed my hair color again. This is the closest to your natural hair color I've seen in a long time.
We're getting there.
It's really pretty on you.
The goal was to eventually get to my natural hair color, but it's a process when my hair has been dark for a long time, and purple. So it still has some purple, some warm tones in it. But I don't know if I really want to go my natural color. I don't know. Next time I could be blue.
You know, that's the fun. That's the fun. My hair is definitely not my natural color. This is not, yeah. So
I'm not opposed to hair color, if you can tell.
It's fun.
So I like to change things up. I just don't know what I want to do next. I typically am like, oh, I know what I'm going to do, and I get like, because sometimes it's a several step process. This time I don't really know. I just knew I was getting rid of the purple. I don't necessarily love my hair light. Notice, you know, anytime you do something like that drastic, you go from a cool to a warm tone, you do dark to light, like your whole wardrobe has to change.
It's true.
Yeah. And so I've noticed ever since I did this with my hair, all I want to do is wear light frilly things. So that's what I want to wear dresses all the time. I don't know why.
That's not a bad thing. But yeah, you normally do wear more structured.
Wear more bold.
And bold, yeah.
You know, and vibrant colors. And I still do, but I put them on and I'm like, it doesn't fit. So. Well,
the good thing is that you always look cute. So there you go. No matter what, every time, and somebody posted that, right? It was like one of the fun things of watching our podcast.
It was on your Instagram. What was it?
Oh, it said, seeing what Deborah's hair is going to look like today. I love it. It's great.
Surprise.
It's awesome. Because you always look amazing.
Thank you. Let's get started.
Finished objects. I have a few. I don't remember how many. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Me too.
Well, there you go. Do you want me to go first?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I'm going to share this one first off because I am so proud of it. These are my Gathering Shells socks, and it's my new sock pattern. Get it close so you can see the pretty shells. Isn't that fun? These are my new sock pattern, and I knit this in my Sanditon sock set, which was inspired by the mini series that was made from the Jane Austen unfinished novel Sanditon.
I just started that.
It's fun.
So I'm looking forward to it.
Kind of makes you angry at the end, though. I'll just say that.
You couldn't have told me that before I started it.
But you'll love it. It's really fun. It's very fun. So anyway, I loved watching it. It was such a pleasure. And yeah, so these are inspired by that. And this pattern is available on my website. It's a really simple lace. It's only 8-row repeat, and it's really easy to memorize. So, you know, once you've done it a couple times, you don't have to look at the pattern anymore. You can just roll with it. And it's just really fun. And I always find that when there's lace socks or stripy socks, something that has a pattern repeat, man, I can knit them fast. I just zoom right through them like lightning because it's just one more repeat, right? Or one more stripe. So anyway, there you go. That's
very
that
pretty.
pattern.
And
I
the
love
yarn
them.
is so pretty. Do you have that in your shop?
I do. I will talk about that later, but I do have this in my shop. Yep. And I even have them in a kit.
I couldn't remember if that was like a club. So,
I'm not doing any clubs this year, which I kind of miss.
Yeah.
But it's okay. It's okay.
Okay. This one is super impressive. So impressive. It's a wondrous dishcloth.
It is impressive. Those are fabulous.
I have to show it because I really want to use it. But I can't use it and show it to you all grimy. That's just... So this is the Wondrous Dishcloth pattern by Jewels of So Sweet Violet, and it is a double thickness washcloth if you haven't seen this before, and it is joined together so that it doesn't shift and come apart. So it's really fancy how she designed it. I love it. This is, I think I counted my 9th one that I've made, and I made this one from however you say that brand.
Sheep cheese or sheepies or something.
Katona. I don't know the colorway because they're all numbers, and I just tossed them all in a basket. I don't remember. So I don't know the colorway. But the yarn was a gift from my sweet friend Kimberly. Thank you, Kimberly. I have a whole bunch more all pulled out, ready to make some more. These are my favorite dishcloths.
Those are really nice.
I would like to have 20.
I know,
my kids want them for face cloths too. Well,
they're really good because they're like, you kind of get the scrubby factor, which you don't always get. Sometimes I feel like dishcloths are a little like loosey-goosey, you know, they're not.
Yeah, they're not as sturdy. Like, yeah, they shift a bit. I don't know, they're shifty.
They're shifty.
So there's my first super impressive one.
All right, I have no idea. I may have already shown these before because I can't remember. It's all blended together.
It has been so long.
But I don't think I have. I think I showed them when we did a Zoom knit night, and that's what I'm thinking of.
Okay.
So this is what I'm showing, which is these socks that I made from the yarn that was my Christmas present from our cute Amy this is Dandelion and Dogwood yarn. And she just named this group Melanie, or not Melanie, that would be me.
This group?
This pairing of 3, Emily. I just called myself Melanie. That really annoys me because every once in a while somebody will call me Melanie and I think...
You've called yourself Deborah too, Queen Deborah.
Well, I don't even know who I am anymore. Let's just face it. So she gave this to me and it's, anyway, this little color, and then it came with the pink and the orange. And I just think they're so fun.
I like what you did with this because I was contemplating doing that on a pair of socks and I thought, is that going to look weird? And I didn't do it. And yours is cute.
I think it's adorable.
Yep.
And
if it was a thing.
Well, here it is.
It is a thing now.
It's a thing now. So that way I could do, yeah, I always feel like, I don't know, especially when you're in like heftier sock weight yarns, if you're going to have enough in a 20-gram mini to do heel, toe, and cuff for 2 socks. And so I thought, well, this way I can use the pink in 2 places and I can use the orange in 2 places. Anyway, it was just kind of a fun way.
I like it.
So anyway, I mean, I did both of them, but I only put one on the sock blocker.
On it?
I did. I just added a little texture, which you can't really see. Well, maybe a little bit. You can see right in
They're
here.
Just purl bumps?
Yep, I just put purl bumps every 4th row. And then on row 4, I did them 4 stitches into my repeat, you know. And then on the 8th row, I did them 8 stitches into the repeat. And so I just went back and forth that way. I think that if I do this next time, I will bring them in a little closer. It was a little too sparse. So I think I would probably do them on the 2nd. And I don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Very cute.
But they were really fun. So those are done. And I really enjoyed knitting those. I think the socks that I have knit recently, I have literally just like, I feel like I take a breath, and I sit down and I need a pair of socks, even though it's more days than that, but it's just how it feels. It's like, wait, I just started those and they're done now.
Do you know how many pair of socks you have?
I have no idea. I saw somebody post on Instagram, like a layout of a bunch of socks on her bed. And I counted them and I think there were 48 pair or 49 pair or something. And I thought, I have no idea how many pairs of socks I have.
I went through a while ago. I don't remember. I counted them at one point. I don't have that many, but I did pull out socks that were like not my favorites, didn't fit as well. And I'm like, I'm going to just pare it down to my favorites and start knitting with all the yarns that I've been holding on to. And do like all my favorites. So
that means I have to knit all the yarns I have from you, because I've been hoarding my Candy Shoppe yarn.
That's what I have.
Skeins,
I have a stash of
because I am not, I'm like, but they're precious. I don't know. It has to be the exact right pattern. And I don't know.
I'm like, I'm just going to die. Or not die. I'm not going to die.
Don't die.
I'm going to knit with the yarns that I love.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if it's not the perfect thing. I just want to use what I love. And I was doing that with my fabrics too. Like, it's time to just do a major clear out and use things up that I've been holding on to. And then I offered all the other stuff to friends and passed on a lot of things. So I have room for all of my favorite things. So that makes it really nice.
It does.
So I have, like, my stash is all the things that I just love and I'm excited to use all the time. All right. I finished. Ends aren't woven in, but I don't care. It's done. Just saying. I finished this amazing rug. See, here's the ends.
It's a tassel, Deborah. It's a design element on one end of your...
this corner. And they're extra long. And then this corner right there.
There you go.
I did do really good at weaving in ends all along until I got to the very end. And I'm like, I am so done with this. Which is funny because it is not very big. But this is like on YouTube. I found it. I linked to it in the last podcast, the last episode, if you want to find that. It's like easy crochet braided stitch, something like that. And it's a puff stitch. And I used Hobby Lobby's I Love This cotton yarn. And this is what I have left.
How many balls did you have?
I bought one of each. Oh, okay. And I would have made this one repeat longer for each one, but I'm like, I'm just going until it's done because this will end up being an expensive tiny rug. Look, it has to be just big enough for your to stand on. It's going in our motorhome in the bathroom, which is, you know, like this big. So you can only put in a rug that's this big, and your feet cannot be any bigger than that. So if you have bigger feet than that, sorry, you can't come in. So anyway.
But if your feet were any bigger, then you probably wouldn't fit in that motorhome bathroom anyway.
And these strings may or may not be woven in. They'll just be placed on the ground.
You'll weave them in.
I did.
Your name is Deborah.
Yeah, I did like a crochet slip stitch edge holding all the yarns together just to kind of tighten it up because the edges wanted to just splay out. And that was it. It's super, super exciting. Yeah, it's
cute though. It's actually, really cute.
Done, I'm looking at it like,
I don't think it's being just like in the on video. I don't think it's showing up as cute as it is in person because it's super adorable.
Yep, it's going to be covered in dirt soon, so really
there you go.
That's why I'm like, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to put some glue, hot glue on the ends. Not really.
Are you going to put hot glue on the back for it to be non-slip? Like
that's what I've been trying to decide. I have, you know how they have like those shelf liners that you can put? I'll probably just cut a piece this size. I won't attach it to it because I don't want to wash it. Yeah. I'll probably just lay it down over the top of it so that it doesn't slip around. That's probably what I'll do. But I won't really hot glue the ends. I'll just put a dab of Aleene's tacky glue, whatever. Stick it down and cut off the rest. That's all.
It's not a bad idea.
If it's a rug,
it depends on how often you're going to wash it, though.
And it's going, oh, dang it.
You got to weave them in, Deb. Just make it happen.
You know, normally I don't mind weaving in ends, but crochet, I hate weaving in ends.
It's harder. It feels like it's not as Like you never make it as secure.
It's not intuitive.
Yeah, you just have to kind of like make it up as you go along.
So then it doesn't ever feel as tidy. And yeah,
Remember how this is the cutest bag ever?
Remember?
Which bag is this? Who made
This is one I made.
Oh, so pretty.
I don't know.
Have you ever seen that?
This is
with this
I made
fabric
this
on the corner
several years ago, and I didn't realize, but I have a thing for Alice in Wonderland.
You didn't?
I didn't realize that until the other day when I was just paying attention, and like I just kept noticing a lot of Alice in Wonderland things in my life, and I do have a head to toe costume, including wig, of Alice, and that was one of the tip-offs. So I really like.
Really? Who knew?
So while I was wearing that,
I'm so sorry.
I was called a streetwalker.
Well, you were walking along the street in your neighborhood.
For those of you who don't know that's funny. A lady of the night. That's anyways, so
I'm sorry, I can't stop laughing.
I thought I looked pretty fabulous. Actually,
You did look really fabulous.
Mistook me for that was one of my friends, and they're like, it was her husband who said it, like looking out the window, like, who's that streetwalker walking down the? Why is there a streetwalker walking your dog? Walking your dog. And then I came to their door because I was coming to deliver something, and they were like, "Who? Oh, it's Deborah." And then,
well, you with a long blonde, very platinum blonde wig.
But then later she's like, "So my husband says he's still got it."
Looking good. Oh my goodness. I am sorry. I'm crying. Okay. I don't know why that made me laugh so hard.
To go off on that tangent. But I was just saying, I really like Alice in Wonderland, and I've decided I need a lot more of that stuff in my life. That's all.
It's good stuff. Good stuff. Well, I can't stop knitting socks, so here is yet another pair. And these I did knit so fast.
I was going to say, I don't think I even saw any of this.
I'm going to actually tell you, I finished them yesterday, and I can tell you when I started them. It was, come on, internet, work with me here. It took me 5 days to knit these socks. And that seems like it was way faster than even that. So, and there were actually, this is Anastasia is the colorway.
Yes,
and it is Sweet Tea Yarns by Miss Molly Klein Designs. And I ordered this a while ago, and this has been one of those that has been just sitting, waiting.
That skein is like a work of art, just in skein form.
Gorgeous.
Yes.
So beautiful. So I just jumped on it last time, and I finally was like, I'm gonna knit them. I love them, and I loved knitting them the whole time. I mean, again, I don't think you're not. It looks muddier here, but this is the softest peach and lavender with little speckles of navy and coral and some white.
Your favorites.
Oh, they're just beautiful.
Like, it doesn't get better than that.
It really doesn't. Honestly, it really doesn't. I love these. I love them. And I knit my Francis socks. This is the pattern.
Like on an angle
so you can see the texture right here. And honestly, they're so fun to knit. I think this is my 4th pair.
It's like
that I've knit.
It's like the Hermione's Everyday Socks, like the simplicity of that and the mindlessness, but still giving you some texture and something to do. And it feels really nice. It feels a little thicker when you wear it. But it doesn't like pull in and get too tight. They're not like rigid.
They still have some give and stretch to them. I'm pretty happy, thrilled with them actually. I love them. I did a 2x2 rib. Normally I think I'm trying to remember now. Pretty sure my Francis socks is a 1x1 rib, but it doesn't either way.
How many rounds of ribbing do you do?
I almost always do 20 rounds. Occasionally I'll do like 25, but this is 20. So
it always looks shorter when it's stretched out.
It does. When you, I mean, like, you know, here I can take it off and you can see what it looks like when it's, of course it's a little stretched, but that's what my cuff looks like. 20 rounds. And honestly, I prefer a longer cuff, so I would prefer it if I knit 25 rounds, but I just can't be bothered to knit more than 20
You're like,
rounds.
that's the maximum I can handle.
I'm like, onto the sock already.
Yeah,
so,
I agree with you.
There you go. 3 pairs of finished socks. And they were so fun. So guess what? All of these are going in my drawer.
I was going to ask if these
they are all going
socks.
in my drawer. So whatever that number is, I don't know what it is, but it's getting bigger.
Okay, so if you are a sock knitter, you like to knit socks, how many pair of socks do you have in your drawer?
Definitely.
So not how many socks have you made, but how many are in your drawer. So let's see, have a contest to see who has the most down in the comments.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And your prize will be bragging rights, because that's all we're doing right now.
You can go over to our Facebook group if you're in there, and you can share a picture of your socks lined up, your sock drawer, whatever it is, however you want to show your sock stack. Let's see it.
Yes, I love seeing all the projects people share on there. I love seeing
very inspiring.
We have finished it Friday.
Yep. And then we have Sunshine Sunday.
Yep.
And that's where we share projects that people are working on.
Oh dear. I believe the mower is about to start right out here.
We just had the washer.
Oh no. Her.
Okay.
Things are taken care of. We're good. We're ready to go. Okay. Anyway, I don't even remember what we were talking about.
We were talking about our Facebook group, Sunshine.
Oh yes, Facebook group. And it's really fun because people share on those days, but then also just share some of the projects or ask questions, and other people
just
are
chat and
joining in.
Yep. It's fun.
It's a really nice forum for it, a really nice format for that.
And I like the feel there.
No, it's Facebook. Facebook isn't always my favorite.
I wasn't going to get into that.
But yeah, people are really, it's a very friendly and positive, very positive group. We haven't had any drama of any sort.
No, I think it's
I can even think of.
People that follow us are very kind, positive people.
Yes.
So that's why.
We appreciate you for that.
Okay.
What else do you have, Deb?
Okay, I told you I've been all about the dresses. So we're now moving into sewing. My daughter decided that she regrets all of the years that she did not fully appreciate the fact that I made her handmade clothing that was just beautiful, and that she would snub it and instead wanted the hand-me-down Dora t-shirts that were like filthy and ragged. That she preferred that over all the things that I made. And she's like, you know what, Mom, I really wish that I had a really nice play dress, and then I would go out into the yard and lay on the hammock and read a book. And I'm like, sold, I'll make you one. Thank you very much. So she picked this pattern, and she wanted it long, and instead of these sleeves from the same fabric, she picked wide lace that she wanted, and we made it out of a very soft, light cotton rayon blend. And then we went and took pictures, and you can see those here. We went to a local garden that's just beautiful, and it's really funny because on Sundays we wear dresses, and Nadia doesn't want to wear this dress on Sunday because it's her play dress.
Even though it's the fanciest
dress she has. It is her play dress only. So
she has that vision in her head of.
And I told her when I finished making the dress I'm making for myself now, I will make her another play dress, and she is thrilled. But I told her that this time I get to pick the fabric and the pattern because she knows that I make nice things. I won't make anything ugly, but I like to have some say in it if I'm going to do all of the work. That's just my thoughts.
Oh my goodness. We have just had a time of interruptions. All right. Well, more interruptions, so we're just going to move on. Okay. Move on to...
Well, I had finished...
Oh, I have one more.
The finished object.
I have one more. Oh, my terrace wrap is complete, and it's humongous. So here you go. Keeps going. Keeps going. Keeps going. And there's the end, which is fantastic because you can wear it kind of wrapped around. This is a messy version of that. And you still have quite a bit of drape to it. Oh, it's just so pretty. Got it kind of inside out here.
Now you may be thinking,
Haven't I seen this before? You have. So at Knit and Pretty, one of the yarn stores where I wholesale and one of our favorite yarn stores here, one of the ladies there had knit this wrap using the Opera Dancer's Daughter colorway of mine, this yarn, for a shop sample for the shop. And I absolutely fell in love with it. And when we were at Stitches West, Stitches Salt Lake, thank you, last fall, I kind of wore it the whole time we were there. And then they let me borrow it. So I brought it home. I actually still have it because I was taking it back right before quarantine. So it's still here in my house. And anyway, but I knit it myself because I can't always just keep borrowing hers. I have to have my own. So this is the Terrace Wrap by Pearl Soho. It is a free pattern on their website. The only modification is that I knit it with a size 6 US needle instead of a size 4 US needle, because it just gives it, I think, a better, beautiful drape to it. It opens up more. And it's just a lot of the same thing. Knitting. You just knit a giant rectangle. The stitch itself puts it onto the bias. So you can see here how it, well, maybe you can see, probably can't. But it kind of slants. It's on the bias, but that's just because of the stitch pattern. There are no increases or decreases as far as the number of stitches. You work just a big long rectangle and you work the same 6 rows for 7 feet.
Till your fingers bleed.
It takes 3 skeins of fingering weight yarn, and I knit those 3 skeins. I had a little ball like this big left over at the end.
Did you just, I mean, were you going for a specific length or just to use up the
yarn? I was going to use up the yarn. And so, yep. And then it just blocks out. When, you know, when you're knitting it, it's much tighter. It's a pretty texture, but you don't really see the open work as much. But it just blocks out so beautifully.
So for how big this is, how long, how did you block this?
I literally laid it out. I washed it and I have a spin dryer because of my yarn dyeing. And so I put it in the spin dryer, which gets out a lot of water. So they're not dripping by the time, it's just damp by the time you take it out of that. Yeah. And then I literally just laid it out on my family room carpet because there was no other place to put it that was, you know,
long enough,
that big enough. It went in front of my my TV stand, and then I just kind of stretched and pulled and patted it into place and let it dry. I didn't use wires or pins or anything. I think I could have gotten a little bit more openness if I had done that. But I mean, even with my blocking wires, I don't have enough blocking wires for 7 feet on 4 sides, you know?
Yeah.
So, and honestly, that would have been miserable.
I'm just thinking of the back pain on the floor doing that.
It didn't, I mean, oh yeah. Ugh. It would have been hours for me. I'm slow.
It would be dry by the time you got the wires in place.
So true. But I love it. And there are a couple of mistakes in it and I can see them.
But nobody else will.
Nobody else is going to see them.
Nope.
So anyway, I think it's beautiful. And honestly, it was not an enjoyable knit because it was just the same thing over and over again. But this was definitely one of the things that I knit because I wanted the finished object. I wanted it done. Oh, there's one of my mistakes. See, right there.
See, nobody would have saw it, Emily.
Well, it just popped into my vision and I don't know.
We all thought you were perfect until now. That ideal has been ruined.
Well, I can live with that. There you go. I love it.
It's so beautiful. Pretty. It's lovely. I have one more finished object myself, which is also not knitting again. I had this idea that I was going to finish my cross stitch projects before I started anything else, and then I quickly threw that out the window and started a new project. This is called Happy Spring from the Snowflake Diaries. I just wanted to do something different because I feel like I've been working on the same thing forever, which I have because I'm very, very slow. This is like it's a free pattern on her website on the snowflakediaries.blogspot.hu, and So I just printed that up. I didn't use any of the called for colors except for maybe one because
you just already
I wanted to do something different. Because I wanted to use this gorgeous strawberry pink linen that I had purchased. And then I made it, I finished it in like a week, which is amazing for me. For other people, that's like, oh, that's a day project. Not for me, I'm slow. And then I put it in this little tart tin, which is a decorative one, not an actual like baked tarts in it. And just used some trims that I already have to finish it off. And I will put a little loop thing on the back so it can be hung. Either that, or it might just stand like on a
little easel
kind of thing. So I loved making this one because I like going and picking out my own colors. I like doing ones that are suggested, but even more than that, I just like doing my own thing. And I made these little ribbon leaves with this yellow gingham ribbon and hot glue. Yes, I touch it with hot glue because I'm classy.
Classy.
There you go.
Very cute. Fun, fun, fun.
These are all of my finished objects.
I only have 2 works in progress I'm going to show today. So, do you want to start out?
I've got a few. Here's my first one. Last time I showed it, it was just a collar. What?
I actually have 3 because I have that one right over there that I forgot to grab.
In which bag?
The one on top of the cart.
There's 2 bags and a basket.
the one you made me, the quilt,
okay.
With the one with the hexies.
Okay, it was just a collar, and now I've finished the lacework yoke, and I'm doing the stockinette stitch after I've divided the sleeves from the body, and I just go down and down and down until it's the right length. But the last time I did the sleeves, picking up for the sleeves, I watched a video tutorial. It did not turn out very well. I pretty much just had to stitch it until everything looked closed and tight enough. And even then it wasn't great. So, Emily, are you good at that?
I don't know that I'm good at that. I've done it. But I kind of stitch it up too. So I almost always do. When I'm picking up stitches, I think I'm really good at picking up stitches in general, but I think arms are hard because you go from stitches that are running up and down underneath to stitches that are running this direction. And that's
the part, because I can pick up stitches just fine, but it's this part right here that always ends up being the issue.
And I always just go in, and from the back side, I end up kind of, actually, no, I lied. From the front, the right side, I basically mattress stitch those little holes closed. And then they just tighten up like that. And so that's what I do.
Well, I'm not looking forward to doing the sleeves because I don't want to go pick up those stitches and make it a mess again. So if you have a great tried and true method, you're welcome to share below.
I can share 2 other things that I have done. One is on one sweater, I knit my sleeves flat and then seamed them up all the way into the arm because I don't mind seaming. And then the other one is, instead of picking up stitches, I cast on stitches and then just seamed up just that underarm thing. I did that
on my cardigan. I still had the issue on the corners. On like the...
where it changes.
Yes, I still had that issue. Okay, so this is the Whitmore sweater by Amy Loudon, who's Taylor S Studios. She is just wonderful. She's the best. I want to be her. And I'm knitting the smallest size with no modifications at all, just as is. And I got gauge first try, which was, no, I don't know. But
well, this is your second time knitting it. So.
No, I just mean like when I knit the swatch, I didn't have to change the needle sizes.
Nice.
So that made it not, no, actually I did have to. That was for a different sweater. For this one, I have no idea what I did. I'm just knitting with the needles, so apparently I figured it out and the needles are in my bag. I'm knitting with US size 5s and US 2.5s. So
there you
that's
go.
what I'm knitting with. I know that's really important because, you know, everybody's gauge is different. So I don't think it really even matters for anybody to know what size needles, because it just depends on what your gauge is.
Yeah, other than to know, don't be afraid to try different size needles.
Yeah. And this is yarn that I dyed. My daughter's, you know, we did sample colors, and my youngest daughter, Nadia, picked this kind of peachy color, and Ella picked this minty green color, and now they've decided they both like both of them, so they're gonna just take turns wearing each other's. We'll see how that goes though, because Ella's not one that really likes to do that. It was her idea, but I don't know that that's gonna go over very well. We'll see what happens. So that's how far I am, and I am knitting, I am alternating skeins, and it's tricky when you have 2 strands that you're holding together here and 2 strands you're holding together here, and managing that. I am doing helical knitting to make it really simple so that you don't see where I'm changing over. But I have one set in a baggie,
that's
and
smart.
then the other set just in my bag to keep them separated so that they don't tangle up. So that's how I've managed that.
That is smart.
And your project?
Well, here, I'll show you. Oh, thank you. That's grand. Yes, I have 2 other projects that I'm just haven't done any progress on. So like my patchwork cardigan, I haven't done anything on it. And my 2-panel blanket, I haven't done anything. But I have done this, which doesn't look like very exciting, but this is going to be a Linum tee. This is a pattern by, all of a sudden gone out of my head who it's by, but I will tell you if you give me one moment here. I saw this on Nicky Winterton, who is Clara Peggotty on Instagram, and she has, this is by Bristol Ivy, who has her wonderful podcast, which is
Sheep and Cheerful.
Sheep and Cheerful. It's so cute. So definitely watch her podcast. But she was wearing one of these one time when I was talking to her, and it was so cute on her that I decided I wanted to make one. I didn't know if I would like a cotton sweater for me, but I'm just trying it out and we'll see. So this, let's see if I can get it to show up, because I only have this on my screen, like on my phone. Try one more time. Turn it down even more. Yeah, it's not going to show up. Oh, there we go. There's the Linum tee by Bristol Ivy. This is a bottom up tee that has kind of fisherman's rib in an asymmetrical panel at the top, which I might just not do. I don't really wear things that are open weave because then I have to layer under them, and I don't want to add more layers than I have to, especially for the summer, which is when I would be wearing a light cotton sweater. So I may not do that fisherman's rib. I may do moss stitch in that same asymmetrical. I really don't know what I'm going to do when I get up there. But right now, I'm just knitting the body anyway. So here we go. Super interesting. It is knit in this yarn, which by the way, falls off the ball very easily and gets tangled with the other balls. This is DMC Natura Just Cotton, which I actually really, really like. It's a very nice, smooth, very soft cotton. It's like a heavy fingering. I would actually call maybe a just lighter than DK. So I almost said heavy fingering, but more like, am I telling you right? No, it's more like a sport to heavy fingering. Yeah.
Didn't she say that after it had been washed several times, it got kind of slubby?
Well, it looked like a slub texture on Nicky, and she used this yarn, but this yarn is not slubby. So I'm not really sure what we're going to get. We're just going to try it out and see. I haven't knit any cotton garments of any sort, but yeah, figured it's worth a try. So yeah, that's where I am. And the nice thing about cotton is it's very affordable.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, that's true.
It was not a big investment to try this out. And honestly, if it doesn't work, I can unravel it. And guess what? You have like 8 million dishcloths worth of yarn right there. So, but I think it's going to be, I think it'll be great. Oh, and the color, I had somebody ask me when I posted a picture of this. So let me tell you the color if it's on here. It's called Amaranto, color number 33. I bought that from Love Crafts website, and they have a ton of other colors, really pretty colors. So there you go.
Okay. I mentioned in our last podcast that my mother wanted some socks knit from a denim blue speckled yarn, and then I had some heel cuffs and toe color choices, and I couldn't decide between them, which was a good thing because I finished my daughter's sweater and had some leftover yarn here, which those are perfect together. I think
they really are.
So I ended up going with none of my previous choices and used this for cuffs, heels, and toes. And I am also knitting the Gathering Shells sock. And
what a good choice.
It is a good choice, I know. And it's very true what Emily says, that it goes through it very quick, because normally this would take me forever, and it took me no time at all because it's just one more repeat. I did 23 rounds for the cuff, 2 by 2. That's not what your pattern calls for. I think it was 1 by 1.
1 by 1 twisted,
I was just using your lace texture, and then I kind of do my own thing. But it's going to be very pretty. I did 64 stitches, so the medium size, and my mom wanted something lacy. I was going to do, or she just wanted something, you know, a pattern on it. I was going to do the Frances socks, and then I saw Emily's Gathering Shells and had to do that. So I also think, because you can't tell when it's like this before it's been blocked. You can't really tell what it looks like. It completely changes. But I thought that you'd be able to still see the pattern even through the speckles when it's blocked. Even if you can't.
You will be able to when it's blocked.
It's still delicate and beautiful. So, yeah, I did that in almost no time. And I am pretty slow with socks, honestly. So, I used to do like an Eye of Partridge heel, and I kept getting confused on
I do every time.
Yeah, I kept getting confused on if I was slipping and knitting one, or if I needed to knit one then slip one, like which one is which, and then I would just make a mess of it. So I always do just a slip stitch heel, and you know what? It looks nice. I like it. It's tidy, so I always do that. We've had a lot of interest lately. I don't know why.
A ton of interest.
A lot of interest on our How to Knit Socks video series lately. On lots of comments, lots of, like, all of a sudden, that's the thing. I'm not very good at responding to all of those, because when there's a lot of questions, I feel like I already did the video and answered them, and I don't remember what I did.
Well, we made that like 2 years ago.
I think this is the 3rd year.
Yeah, so I don't
remember.
It's kind of hard to, and it wasn't like we wrote out a script. It was they were live videos.
Yeah, so I'd have to like go back, watch the video to figure out that instead, I hope those videos help, but there's not a lot else.
However, if you are having trouble and you come and join our Facebook page, a lot of times if you ask questions there, even if we can't get to them right away, other people are jumping in and answering them. So it's a really good resource if you're having a question, if you have questions or are having a trouble with any of that. So good. Okay. All right. Speaking of socks, here we go. Here's another one. Here's another little baby sock. I just started. It's not a baby sock, but it's just a baby of a sock. And I'm doing a ribbed sock here. And guess what? Who do you think this is for? That's right. It's for my husband. How did you know? Maybe because it's grayish blue? I bought this yarn. It came in the mail. I opened it and Richard goes, I think that's for me.
Shocker.
Are you surprised? Here. Oh, my little label is stuck in the middle of my ball here. Hold on. This is Yarnaceous Fibers who is another wonderful Utah dyer. And she does all of these little things based on dinosaurs. Love it. And I believe that this I can't tell if those are H's or N's.
Anning?
It's either Anning or Awing. I'm guessing it's Anning. A-N-N-I-N-G is the colorway. It's on her Salta fingering weight base, and it's just delightful. Lots of fun interest, even though it's bluer than it's appearing right here, by the way. It's got quite a bit of blue, but anyway, so there we go. So I'm doing a 4x1 rib, and I'm knitting 68 stitches. So my little hint for knitting 68 stitches, I don't like it if every single round I have to start on a purl stitch. And so when I'm doing 2x2 rib, and then when I just continued, when I'm doing anything that's based on a 4-stitch pattern, and then you repeat those 4 stitches around, I usually will break up my stitches. So instead of having them exactly even, like on a 64 stitch sock, you have 32 stitches on one needle and 32 on the other. But when I'm doing a 68 stitch, I don't want to have to start with the purl section in the 2x2 rib. So I do 32 on one side and 36 stitches on the other. And so I have this little stitch marker right here. And the reason I keep that stitch marker is to remind me when I get to the heel to move these 2 stitches to the other needle so that I don't do the heel on the 36 stitches.
Or even 32.
Or on the 32, which I have done before and I learned. So that's what I do when and I like to knit 68 stitches for Richard for his socks. They fit him best that way. And I also find that he likes this ribbed sock because it kind of pulls in a little bit and stays nice. It fits him a little nicer.
It feels more like the socks he's used to wearing.
Right. Because we have discussed how our husband's like very, very
restrictive socks.
I was going to say snug, but restrictive is a good way to say it. So, yes. But Father's Day is coming up, and so I wanted to make him some socks. So there you go. Gray socks for the win.
Okay, I also mentioned that I am not holding on to yarn for the perfect moment when all the stars align and everything is just right, which never comes, and so then I don't use it. I decided I'm going to just use them. Because you know what? Tomorrow there'll be another gorgeous colorway that's posted that I have to have. So there will never be a shortage of beautiful yarns available. So I can just let go of that.
Especially if you know how to make beautiful yarns.
Yes, I do know how to make them. I do. And I also know people who make them. And so it's okay. So I had this sock blank that I had dyed up years ago when I was first learning to dye yarn. And it turned out so beautiful that I couldn't let it go.
It really is so pretty.
So I decided I was going camping and I wanted just a plain vanilla sock to knit because I didn't want to have to think about it at all. I wanted to be able to do it in the dark while we're around the campfire. So I didn't want any type of pattern at all. So I pulled out the sock blank. This is the sock blank. And I had some that was loose on one end. I started knitting with that and quickly realized that was the wrong end.
Oh no.
Because it wasn't pulling on the edges. It wasn't coming free.
So this is a double knit. It has two strands.
Double knit, okay. Yes. And I liked dyeing the double knit ones because even though you could just keep knitting, I want them to match. And if I were to knit one pair halfway through, the next side, the splotches will be in different places, and so it won't be a really matching pair, and I like things to match. So I went to the other side. The only thing is that the other end was my least favorite end, but I was already committed. We were already in the car going, so I would have had to have unraveled the entire thing, wound it into separate balls so I could start knitting from the other end, and I was not about to do that. So, because it's double knit, the sock blank, I need to do 2, but I'm not doing 2 at a time on a needle. I'm doing them concurrently. So I will just unravel a bit and knit, I don't know, 3-4 rounds and on one sock, and then pick up the other one and do it on the other sock. I could put it onto one needle, but I just remember how much I hate that.
Yeah, I really hate that.
What I do love is knitting with this crinkly ramen yarn, and I love that it gives it this crinkly texture when I'm knitting. I love it. I love it. I don't love, like I said, this end that I started with so much because it doesn't have as much of the teal and greens and the other colors in it, but I'm still enjoying. I'm enjoying using this.
Just knit them really long. Make them really, really, really long
They're
socks.
going to be knee-highs, so I can get to the other end, which will be in my shoe and hidden. Or I will knit them regular, and then I can knit some shorty socks. With
there you go.
So I can use that end. So anyways,
beautiful.
These are, I did 23 rounds. Once again, this one is 1x1 ribbing. And I just like how it's just, so this is one that a lot of people that watch me doing this go, why are you doing that? And this is the reaction I got when I was knitting with this. They're like, so you have a piece of knitted fabric and you're unraveling it to reknit. Like, why? I said, because it's like magic. You don't know. I mean, you can like have pictures on this. That's what a lot of people do. It looks beautiful here like this. And then when you go to knit it, you don't know what you're going to get. And they're like, so what's the appeal of not knowing what you're going to get?
It's because they're not knitters. They don't understand.
But it's so fun. So I had like a splotch of this, you know, on the other end that I got it swirling up the cuff, and then it kind of stopped. So I just have a swirl on the cuff, and now it's into a lot of kind of these peachy colors. So it's fun. It is not mindless though, however, because I have to manage the 2 at a time. Yeah. I do wish that I had just said, hold on for a bit. I'm going to go wind these first.
But then you would lose the whole fun of unraveling and knitting from the unraveled.
I do love knitting directly from the sock blank. The crinkliness of it and seeing what's coming. And I do love that part of it.
I think for me, that's the thing that makes me want to do not double knit sock blanks, even though you don't get a matching one, is that you get the fun of just rolling with it, you know. And
that, to me, having matching socks is so important.
Yes, that you're willing to sacrifice that.
Because that is so important that they match. So
I remember seeing Amber Lindemann from Yarn Hoarder, one thing that she did with a sock blank, I think this was where she knit one sock blank into, I think, 5 shorties socks, and she did different rainbow heels, toes, and cuffs, if I remember right, on these 5 shorty socks. And it was ones where her daughter could just grab any one of this pair, and you could tell that they generally went together, but none of them matched, and it was just kind of a fun, crazy
I do think that it's fun to see. I just, for wearing them, I want them to match.
Well, and for you, for sure. Abby, my youngest, she cannot be bothered to match socks. She is hilarious. She will wear, and we joke, we're like, well, as long as they're the same basic. She's like, nope, they're not the same basic anything. It's like this one's
long, this one's an ankle sock.
She does that, and it drives all the rest of us bonkers. She's got one black sock that's like an ankle sock, and then like a red no-show sock.
What's funny is I used to do that when I was a teenager, and I'm like, it's my thing. And you want to know why it was my thing? Because there were 6 kids, and we could never find matching socks. We had a sock basket. It was filled with like 200 socks. You could never find a pair. I'm like, you forget this. I'm just going to make mismatched socks.
Maybe that's why I wear sandals like my whole life.
Because you couldn't find socks.
Because I grew up never being able to find my matching socks.
And so now it is a thing. You buy mismatched socks. Like you go buy socks and they aren't matching pairs. So
that's funny.
Yeah.
Sure makes life easier. All right. This project. All right. I am knitting this. It is called the Corticelli. I'm not knitting it. I'm crocheting it. Between Meals Centerpiece.
I linked to that in our previous video where you talked about it.
Great. So you can go find that in that previous video.
Might even be 2 ago.
It is a vintage pattern. It is from, I believe, either 1912 or 1914. It's free, and I'm using number 10 crochet cotton. I don't know what brand this is, probably like Aunt Lydia's or something like that. And this is where I am so far. Oh, there it is. The hardest part about this is that I've already made this once. And I've talked about that before, but the summary is, I made this. I enjoyed it for several years until my youngest, when she was much younger, cut it with scissors. And now I am making it again because I really loved having it. It's just beautiful. And it will be very large. I am let's see if I can show you where I am on the pattern. I am on this spot right here in the pattern. So I have this much more to go. So it's I'm on round 46 out of 60. And you wouldn't think that 60 rounds could make something this big, but it does.
I was just thinking that.
It's because of all of these like really lacy parts.
Yeah.
You know,
they really open up
they
round.
do. They really open up. They're not just, I mean, knitting is very shallow. Yeah. You know, it is only as deep as it is. Yeah. Each round, no matter whether it's a lace round or not, it is just one stitch deep. But crochet can grow in several different directions. So, you know, here we have one round, and that is like this loop right here. These going around are one round, but look how much height you give from it. So anyway, it's coming along, but it's big enough now that it's taking me a long time to make it through each round. And I can only crochet for so long before my wrists and my elbow don't like it. So then I put it down and I come back to it. I am using a USB crochet hook, which is a 2mm crochet hook, which honestly, I'm going to be honest, this is a little bit larger than what you probably should use to make this. My little loops are a little bit bigger than what makes them look extra nice. The needle or the hook that it calls for, it says hook number 3. Well, good luck in knowing what a hook number 3 actually is from 1912. I don't know what that is. Maybe somebody else does. And if you do, feel free to comment below. But the great thing is that I would have been using this one anyway, just because of the tension that crochet causes. Doing it any smaller or tighter, I guess is the better word, would have really not been enjoyable. But I am enjoying it. I am really looking forward to having it on my table again. I love having that. And I recently found the most recent one. It's right over there, but I made a rectangular one about, 2.5 years ago, and used that as a table runner for quite a while. And then a candle, you know, the candle wax incident happened. We've all had those incidents, right? And that has been sitting, waiting for me to get all that wax out of it. And then I couldn't find it. And I just found it again today. So,
okay. I have one more project that I'm working on. I haven't finished this row. Okay, one thing I should mention about the crinkly yarn is that when you block it, it does smooth out. It doesn't stay crinkly. So I have no problems whatsoever with that. Though I would be happy if it stayed crinkly. Interestingly enough, that doesn't seem like something I would like, but I do. I saw Yarn Cafe Creations, Christy. She posted yarn that she was doing a collaboration with Wool and Water Knits for this stunning sweater. Amazing. It's gorgeous. So I immediately went and dyed some yarn because I can, and I've cast on the sweater. Now it is a double stranded, like two yarns held together, a mohair lace weight, and then I have my fingering weight yarn. Now the pattern calls for a non-superwash, and I only had superwash. which means that I am also making some adjustments to the length as I knit it, because superwash tends to grow. I also have a really short torso, so I am adjusting the shaping as well. Not only do I have a short torso, I'm shaped like a boy. So there's no need to really curve in at the waist. I'm just kind of straight, so I'm just barely curving in, and that's about it. But I love this colorway that I've dyed. So I have already posted a picture of what the sweater looks like.
It is stunning.
The sleeves, I am using my Bear Marshmallow mohair, and then I dyed these in 50 gram skeins because I accidentally bought a whole bunch of those. So I'm using those up. So it means a few more ends to weave in, but not that big of a deal, actually. So I just think that will be nice and high contrast, so that'll be really, really pretty. This is a very loose gauge, so I will definitely need to wear something underneath this, which I'm not opposed to doing that. I do that most of the time anyways. But I will probably sew something in like a satin, so it'll slip, like not grab, you know, like undershirts will want to grab and not do what you want it to do. So I'll probably sew the camisole top. Have to go find a fabric in this color. But this pattern is, I don't think I mentioned, it's called the Spring in LA sweater. The designer is Paige Zelasco, and she's Wool and Water Knits on Instagram. And it's listed right now only on Ravelry, but she is, she has it up on Etsy. She just needs to do, there was one thing she had to do before it went live. So hopefully that will be live. If you're looking for an alternative place to purchase your patterns, that will be live on Etsy. And she is very, very sweet and very helpful. I've talked with her quite a bit, like, because I was looking for the pattern before it was available then, and so we made arrangements so that I could purchase it from her.
Nice.
Directly. And so if she doesn't have it up, then you can always contact her at Wool and Water Knits on Etsy. So she's very helpful that way, and it is a gorgeous pattern, and it is seamed. It's knit in pieces. I was just working on the front piece, and there is, I like that also because then you can get the neck and armhole shaping different from the front and back without having to do short rows and all sorts of things that way. And it does have color work on the sleeves, which I am interested to see how that will work, where one is a lace weight mohair that's light and the other is a dark one. So it looks great in the pictures. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, that will be interesting to see it. It's beautiful though. It's really stunning. It was definitely one where I saw it. The first thing I thought was like, that looks like a Deborah pattern.
I saw it. I was like, I gasped, and I immediately contacted her to get the pattern.
That's so neat.
Like, normally I think about things for a long time, and will I really want to wear it? Will I? And I didn't hesitate for a second. So
you knew you wanted it.
Yep. It's going to be a while though. I won't be wearing it for a while anyways. Doesn't really matter. I just really don't like to have too many projects on the go, and I have 2 pairs of socks and 2 sweaters. So that, like, normally 3 is my maximum. I like having like a hat, pair of socks, and something, you know, more intense. But I've got 2 sweaters and 2 socks. So I want to finish the Ella's sweater before I really do too much.
Yeah.
On mine.
I know. It's kind of funny because I felt like I hadn't knit socks forever, and then I go back and look at how many socks I've knit. And
you have knit so many.
But I did. I mean, like, I went through a while where I was only working on sweaters. Yeah. So anyway,
I've been trying to, I had for a while tried doing like a pair of socks a month, because that's my maximum. And I did pretty good with that. And then there was like 6 months where I maybe did 1. Yeah. Maybe. So
all these things are just restrictions we put on ourselves. And in the end, you do what you enjoy because it's your hobby.
Exactly. I've just been doing so many other things, a lot more sewing, stuff out in the garden. I'm surprised that I have done as much as I have.
That's what I was thinking too. Yeah.
I'm really shocked, especially because I had 1 month where I didn't make a single thing. I couldn't use my hands, like really. Even to hold a book was too much. I couldn't do anything, really. So I was just working really hard to make up for that.
There you go. You're like, so now we'll do all of it.
Everything that I ever wanted.
I really want, this is dream knitting really quick. I want to knit a shawl for Aria. For someday when she gets married. Now, this is not coming up anytime soon, but I gotta find this. I have this shawl that I found that I'm in love with it. And so I actually just ordered yarn so I could dye a specific lace weight, which is going to be I have word recall issues. Merino silk blend. So sorry. Hello, favorites. It is the shawl that I'm taking forever to look up, so I keep talking. It is called Dance Macabre by Boo Knits. And this is, it's just amazing. It's beaded. Let me get this pulled up all the way. Come on, bigger.
It's not going to happen. It's not.
Here we go. See if we can show. Oh,
it's way too dark.
Way too dark. I know. It's hard to find the right brightness when you're showing it on a screen. There you go. If you could see that edging on there. But with all that the beading and everything. It's just beautiful. And that picture was probably not the best one to show. But anyway, it's just really gorgeous. You'll have to go look at it. Here's a picture. Isn't that beautiful? It's super intense lace. And then it's got beading all the way through it.
That reminds me of the Flowers for Yvonne, like the intensity of that one.
It will be intense, but I will not be doing it with a what was that? Tencel yarn. I'll be doing it with a merino silk, so it'll have a little more grabbiness to it. So but it is lace weight. Yeah, but merino silk is a nice.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. I say that now. Maybe later on, I'll call it the new shawl of death. So
for a wedding,
it is called Dance Macabre. So you've got a good precedent set there already. But it has like these, 5-time yarn overs to make big holes in them and things like that. I haven't done before that I'm really interested to try, and then definitely the beading. So it'll be neat.
All right. It is now time for our Kindness is Like Sugar segment. So when I was first a homeowner and very young, we had a $0 budget for our yard. Less than $0. We didn't really stop to think what it would take to maintain a yard. We didn't have a lawnmower. That was the first shocker, like, oh yeah, we need a lawnmower. So we found a beat up one and repaired that. Anyways, but I had a lovely lady that lived down the street from me, and her name is Joy Bossy, and she at one point was our local gardening celebrity. She had some segments on the radio and TV in different places called Joy in the Garden, and she was just lovely, and she was so sweet and came and taught me a lot about how to garden and how to garden water-wise. We live in a dry climate, and water was very expensive and to water our lawns and all of that. And then she also was so kind in teaching me how to propagate plants, and she gave me a lot of cuttings from her yard and dug up plants from her backyard and brought them over to my house so I could landscape my yard, which was so nice and helpful. So I learned so much from her. And over the years, I have learned a lot of things, and we are now getting ready to dig up our entire yard, you know, the front, and all of the things that we had done in there. And I decided that I needed to pass on the love. So my sister, actually, Catherine, has purchased her first home, and she needs to do her landscaping. And I thought, I need to now pay it forward and dig up the plants and all of the beautiful things that we have. And, you know, we're going to take some over to her yard. So that was just a sweet memory as I was looking through my garden and thinking that the plants in there came from a really sweet person, and getting ready to pass them on to my sister. So
Joy in the garden with Joy Bossy. Yep. She was wonderful.
She is so fun. She's so fun to learn from. She always said, all of my plants could do with a little light pruning. Anytime you need to go back and do a little light pruning, meaning if you want to pick something, if you want to like, she just welcomed you back there. So
I also remember one time asking her about my tree. I said, I have this tree in my yard and it just won't grow. And she says, well, what tree is it? And I said, a silver maple. And she says, well, there's your problem. I was like, that's
exactly how she is.
There's your problem. So apparently silver maples, at least not here, don't do well.
We just planted a Japanese maple. And I'm excited to see over the next 40 years it grow 2 feet.
That's what happens when you buy a Japanese maple. Is it already pretty in the pot? Good, because that's what it's going to look like for a very long time.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
I know. I really, do you have peonies?
I have 2 clusters of them that we've dug up from different areas, and they really don't like to be moved around.
They don't.
But they have actually recovered, and they are getting ready to bloom. They're kind of small, but I think they'll do okay.
Yeah.
Do you have
that's
any?
one. I don't have any. I had one that got damaged it got frost damage with a late frost, and it just didn't recover after that. And then the other thing I need are iris. I need some more iris.
Do you need purple flag iris, bearded iris?
Yes.
Okay, I can help you with that.
I need like a lot of them.
I have about 150 that came from 7. No, I think that we started with like 20. And you are supposed to thin them out, you know, dig them up every 2-3 years and space them out again. I did it once in the last 15 years. But
that's good.
They still seem to be okay with that.
Here's another one. Do you have any daylilies?
I have some. They will be blooming in the next, I don't know, month. So we probably should dig those up because, yeah, that will be in the area that's going to be dug up. So there you go. I have a cluster. Got my flowers sorted now. Yeah. So I have a whole bunch of those iris, and they have taken over, which is amazing. Which is amazing how plants do that.
Did you put one of those on Grandma's grave this year?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
No.
There was a bundle of flowers there when I went, and it looked like it might have been from you. Okay. But anyway, it's kind of fun stuff.
Yes, I have been planning for several years now of what I want to do in my yard, and I finally nailed down the vision, and yesterday really solidified it. And so now I'm like, that's it. It's time to get started.
That's exciting. I'm excited to see what you do.
It'll be years before we really see it come to fruition.
That's how gardens are, though. Gardens, there are some really great quotes about gardens, but one of them is that
to plant a garden is to believe in tomorrow.
And there's another one that says something about planting a tree for the fruit for your children, or the next generation. I don't remember what it is, but it's the same way. I love it.
All right.
Shop news.
Yep, shop news.
Some shop news. So I already shared that one little bit about my my Gathering Shells sock pattern being available. So just a reminder here. Oh, that was really supposed to be smooth, but here it is. Gathering Shells. And I also have Sanditon sock sets, and you can buy them either just the yarn, or you can buy them in a bundle. That's the yarn with a shell and pearl progress keeper and the pattern. So you can buy them in both ways. And look how pretty. It's just so pretty. I love it. I also have more of the Handsome Enough to Tempt Me sock sets in stock. I have Linnea and Monet's Garden, and Linnea and Monet's Garden is on sale right now. This was dyed in a collaboration with Dole Valley Girl, Lisa Dole Valley Girl Knits, who is Lisa, and she has designed the cutest little cardigan and beret pattern for little girls, and I believe it's available in size, it's either 3 or 6 months up to 12 years. And so if you use the coupon code Monet's Garden 10, you can get Monet's Garden for 10% off. And I encourage you to go and check out Lisa's pattern, but it's just so fun. It's using all those colors that you would find in a Monet painting. And I also have decided that one of the things I want to do is just pick one of my colorways from previous collections, that just one of the ones I love, and I'm just going to be bringing them back kind of whenever I feel like it. So the one that's right now is In the Garden from my Secret Garden collection. And this is just such a fun rosy, like warm rosy pink with little flecks of leafy green in there. It's really just a fun, pretty one. So I've got quite a bit of this in stock right now. And there's some other fun things. I have Kitty and Lydia is still in stock. And I have Author's Colors. I'm trying to remember what else. There's a bunch of fun stuff, but those are just some of them. So enjoy.
I actually have one small thing to note, that I was in the mood to dye some yarn and decided to do a few mini skeins to make a set. And at the same time, I dyed a couple of skeins of the denim blue. So I actually will have, I think this next week, a couple of little bits of things in my shop, in Candy Shoppe Yarns.
Is it going to be at Candy Shoppe Yarns website or on Etsy? Where
on
is it?
Etsy.
On Etsy.
Candy Shoppe Yarns on Etsy. I do have a Candy Shoppe Yarn website that also directs you over to with the Etsy. But no, I am not planning on dyeing a whole bunch of yarn.
But just if you felt like you were in the mood and you had some. I just was in the mood
and I had the time and I had the inspiration, and so I started. I haven't finished it, but I thought I'd just let you know. And I'm not reserving any of them. They'll just be up when they're up. There you go.
There you go. Have fun. Well, hopefully you're having a wonderful coming to the end of spring. We're in spring still, but I always think of Memorial Day as the beginning of summer. So,
and once it hits 90
this week,
it's summer.
Yeah. So hopefully it's going to be a wonderful week for you.
I'm excited. Do you know how much I love summer?
I know.
I don't like being hot, but I love summer. I live in the wrong state because I don't like winter. We already discussed this. I just thought maybe you have forgotten.
Well, it has been a few episodes since it was winter. Like last Saturday when you got snowed on when you were camping.
Yes, so I just needed to remind you all.
The great thing is here, you can be down here and it's 98 degrees, but if you drive up into the mountains, there's snow. There's still snow on the ground.
So if you're too hot, go into the snow.
Alrighty, well, have a wonderful week and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.